Oh, hello. Hey, it's me, Miss Hillman. I was just about to sit and enjoy a beautiful, delicious lunch. And as I was doing that, I dropped my bag of Funyuns. And it landed on top, it landed on the bottom. And just on the bottom, what did I see? You guessed it, percents. And I was like, that is our new topic. We are about to start our unit on percents. And what better to do it than with a foldable? So come along with me as we get started on tonight's homework. All right, today in class, you should have received your little foldable, and we're gonna turn it into a foldable as such. So you're gonna take this top left-hand side and fold it in. We're gonna do that for all three of them. I'm gonna fold them in. Just like that. And then we're going to take this right hand side and fold it over. So voila, you can see the foldable. It's appearing right before your eyes. All right, and our topic is percents. So I'm going to grab my pens and my markers and get started on this lesson. Often when we're out and about, we'll see signs about 50% off, 10% off, and this unit is all going to help us understand what is happening when we see those signs. So we're going to start with some easy ones. 10%. Hopefully you've seen that around somewhere. 10%. When we say 10%, it means, so go ahead and open it up, it means 10 parts out of 100. So parts per 100, because percent is always measured in parts per 100. So you're comparing a number to 100. If I were to use my 10 by 10 grid here, I could shade in to show what we're referencing. 10 boxes shaded out of 100. That would be 10% of the box shaded. When we're out and about, sometimes we see things written as a fraction, so we can say 10 out of 100, which we know is simplified to be 1/10, because you divided the top and the bottom by 10. So we can see what this percent looks like as a fraction. And then in general, we also see it as a decimal. So we can see it as 10 hundredths, because the 0 is in the hundreds place. We can also say 1/10. So we can shorten it to 1/10 because we just left off the 0, even though it's really still there. We left off the 0 and we just have 1/10. So that's how we'd see it as a decimal. And then we have off to the side 10 cents, because you see that out and about when you're paying for items. All right, our next percent, which we're going to go over, which is a key percent that pops up all the time, would be 25%. I was at the store yesterday and they were like, "Ooh, you can buy this hat for 25% off." And I was like, that's not too bad. So when we look at this, it's the same thing. It means 25 parts per 100. So 25 out of 100, and we could shade that in to show what it represents as well. So I'd shade in one 10 by 10 frame, a second one, and then 5 more. So this would be 25% of my boxes shaded. And as a fraction, because often we convert between percents, decimals, and fractions. So it would be 25 parts out of 100. And we can write that in simplest form as 1/4, because we divided both the top and the bottom by 25. So we can see both fractions that represent our percent of 25%. And I'm going to do that with the top one as well. We had our 10% fractions. And then we can write it as decimal. Hopefully you're guessing it would be 25 hundredths, where our 5 is this time in the hundredths place. And we know this would represent 25 cents. So that's how we would write 25 cents when we're out and about. And our final common one would be 85%. So if you're ever somewhere and they have 85% off sale, woo, did you get a steal? Or did you? We'll find out soon. All right, 85% we know would be 85 parts out of 100. Oops, I got ahead of myself. Put that in the wrong spot. It's nothing some lovely whiteout can't fix. I love fractions so much I wanted to skip the word form, but the word form is very important because it's going to help us set it up correctly. So it's 85 parts per 100. And if we were to shade that in, that means 85 out of these 100 boxes would be shaded. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, and then 5 more. So the percent would show 85% of the box is shaded. To write that as a fraction, 85 parts out of 100, so 100 would be in the denominator, which we could simplify this because both end in 5, so we know 5 goes into the numbers evenly, bringing us to 17 out of 20. So we have fractions that we can use to represent 85%. And then, of course, we can write it as a decimal. Be 85 hundredths, where the 5, the last digit here, is in the hundredths place. And that's it for your foldable. Pause or go back if you need to pick up on something. See you tomorrow in class.